Hello everyone, so this will be a full video version of the flying car YouTube short that I posted yesterday. So let's just turn on screencast keys, and it just started with a really simple base mesh which I mirrored in the x-axis and manually modeled. So okay, let's move it this way and create some kind of uh, wing here. Let's flatten this out. If some of the geometry later on kind of results into something weird, we can just remove it later. So this is starting to look like a spaceship. So to straighten this, there's a great way to straighten this. Remove this and reestablish the edge loop. There's no need to for you to actually move stuff by using your eyeball. Just remove it and then reestablish. Temporarily removing this so I can move this shape without the extra geometry. And just going to correct the topology later on. So something like this. And do this and that. Okay. And I need to straighten this to using this edge direction. So G to slide and press E and flip to select this direction of the edge here, and also hit this one, E and F, flip. So that is the shape that it's copying right now. It's the if I don't know if you can see it, the red dot there. If you flip it, the red dot is now here, and your edge loop copies uh, the shape or the direction of the edge loop in that direction. Okay. Boom, boom. Just adding some more topology. Then I'm going to soften this a bit. Okay. Control V, and then wait a minute. I'm going to. This is 4.5. Let me just test out the control of the grid. So the grid fill works. Okay. Select everything. Control V and smooth vertices. Bring off F9. Okay, to just control the result. We're not after some really angular shapes. We're just going to copy what's in the video, the YouTube short, which is softer shapes. Okay. This one, however, we're going to fix it. Okay. Now we have our base mesh. Just going to save this. Then save the copy of the base mesh data, save, and control S to save Blender and also the saved mesh data. Now I can play around with the with a play around with the randomization. The random panels, square represents. We're going to eventually merge this. So by default, this is in merge. When you soften the geometry using smoothing, it does this because it's not merged. So we have to go to auxiliary and use merge panel. So now it's merged to the source mesh. It's destructive, that's why we saved a copy of the data earlier. So, it's destructive, that's why we saved a copy of the data earlier. Okay. Oops. No, 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 not. Oh my god, not the cuts. Let's bring it down to 1, and then I was aiming for the repetition. So that's why you go in a habit of saving Blender like every uh, 10 seconds. You press Control S. And over the years, it becomes like muscle memory. Okay, let's do this. Just increase the maximum. For all the parameters in the add-on, if the minimum is larger than the maximum, then the roles are reversed. So you don't have to worry about having the minimum as the maximum value. Okay. Summary of 4 and let's just play with the repetition of the smoothing. I'll probably bring this the depth minimum to 0.03. So all we really need to do now is play around with the panel amount, with the panel size, and you can play around with the split cuts, the smoothing, the depth, even the margin, but this will result in some geometric errors. It's just the offset. Okay, get the pattern that we want. Okay, this looks good. This has the front cockpit glass of the car. Is it cockpit? Okay. And this is the way to enter the car. It should be this way, but this is randomization, so we really can't get 100% of what we like. But you can edit it afterwards. So this is seed number 9, and we're just going to remember that. Okay, this looks better. This could function as the side door, and we also have this shape right here. So if you want to make sure that you really have the shape for this, you need to just deselect the faces in this area around and select all the faces around it to make sure that this is not affected by the randomization. But in this case, okay, we also have an empty slot here. We can detail it again using the same operator. So let's just use this. And probably let's increase the panel size. Okay. It changed most of it. So I wanted to get rid of the faces here that are too thin. So increasing the maximum panel size, but we lost we lost the shape, but I think we can just play around with the. Okay, this also looks good. Let's just say that this is the opening. It looks good. Let's see minimum. Let's try and use iteration of 2. Okay, I think we can do this and use this as the cockpit. Yeah, I think we can do this. Okay, Control S. Now I'm using for select, and I'm going to add more detail to this using this geometry. But if I do it uh, again from the last video where I showed you the smoothing feature, this will affect the increasing this will affect the rest of the model. So if you want to smooth only the area that you want, you need to toggle this uh, icon right here. So it only smooths the one that you've detailed. Or use randomization on. Okay, not that, but this one. So I'm not subdividing because the mesh already has the resolution that I want, or for the randomization to play with. So if I increase this resolution, it will also increase all the meshes resolution, and I don't want that. If need be, you can use that, but in this case, the mesh already has the resolution for the randomization to play with again and generate those big details, not too small. Okay, let's play around with the depth. Okay, looks good. So not too small of a detail to make it less crowdy. The let's use 25. There we go. I can modify this and this to become like an exhaust uh, part later. And here we're just going to add a little bit of detail. Let's use 40. So the bigger the panel island, the bigger the panel size, the bigger the panel islands, therefore less detail. Okay, you can use that. This one as well. Just look at the overall detail and decide whether you want to keep the new ones. Go to Shade Smooth. This is what the geometry will look like in render if you have it shaded smooth. And I guess we can try in the YouTube short. I added subdivision surface. There we go. And I think I also added edge split. These mark sharp edges, they are also there's these edges that have their seams marked. They are also marked sharp edges. So sharpness. So we can split that. I did this just to like for the shader, to shading to actually make those boundary edges more prominent. But you can leave it out if you want. split by sharp edges only. Use simple. With this, oh, nothing's changed. Edge split. So there we go. You can see the split right there. But in order to um, not use cut mount and Clark, we'll just we're going to use simple, and actually to avoid the smoothing of the subdivision, we're going to use the simple uh, subdivision algorithm. Then use the smooth modifier to actually do the smoothing manually. It's gonna open up holes, but if you want that kind of effect, you can do it. Also, do it here. It didn't make a difference. Okay, let's just disable the edge split and do with the subdivision and the smoothing. Okay, so without the subdivision and smoothing, there we go. So this shade smooth operates on the resolution. Right now it's to kind of a med poly, that's why the shading looks like this. To actually make this look like a bit harder or sharper, you add supporting edges. But in this case, I don't want to touch the geometry, so instead of adding support loops, I'm just adding uh, added resolution using subdivision. There you go. So it looks much more solid without the need to add more resolution if you want this look. But if you want the softer look, you can just disable this two right here. There you go. Okay. Run vertex color just for the base and sharp. Since this is not separate islands, um, everything is merged, so we're going to use sharp. And since those edges that are the boundary edges of those merged panel islands are marked sharp, you can just use the sharp toggle here and not use this. Okay, and let's just go to extras, shading, and open materials. And I'm going to use assign material, Afro metal, change the HDRI. So it kind of looks like that at first. We need to modify um, the shader. But for this one, I'm going to use just a basic material, metallic to 0, IOR to 1.45, transmission to 1, and it's showing the inside of our car, but in the YouTube short, it also did that, but I did this. So you can design the inner part of this using the same method with render flow, or if you just want to block the inside, you can separate this, go inside, and this is a perfect time to try out the grid fill, but we need to apply the mesh. Oops. Remove the subdivision and the smoothing. apply mesh, and select these edges, Control F, grid fill. Oh my god, awesome. In the older version, it will not follow the shape, but, or I think, yeah, um, not follow the shape accurately as this one, but 4.5 really did a good one on the grid fill. So thanks to the developer who did this. And right now, you can no longer see the inside. Actually, you can still see the inside. We're going to add a material to this, which is like simple diffuse again. Color black, metallic to 0, and roughness to 1. There you go. And this shader here, we're going to modify as well. So right here is the vertex color, and control it with an overlay color mix node. There you go. So edge mask, there's not really uh good reason to use this for this because of the soft angles, scratches, cavity mask. Let's go for peaks and noise, threshold. There we go. Let's see the car. And we have the quick dirt. Set it to 2. This one to 5. And copy the color from the cavity mask to here. Okay. So the colored part of the vertex color. Okay. Shift F. This is per select, by the way. And just use sim limit. So if you don't have this options here, tell me in the comments because I totally forgot if I have updated upper select for this feature. Okay. I just modified like 4 add-ons and I completely forgot if I have updated this one. Okay, just tell me in the comments if I did. If I forgot. Set. Go. Deselect. And, let's select another part. Just set the vertex color. We're going to just use the faces too. The actual faces. Actually, why am I in viewport mode? That we can go to draw cuts and E. Okay, just draw the shape that you want. So this is just temporary geometry. You can just, when you don't need it anymore, you can just delete the edges. So this is basically drawing using geometry. Is, but I think it won't look good because of the subdivision modifier. But let's try triangulating. You know, does it look good? Okay. There's another way. Draw faces in object mode. Like that. Oops, I didn't turn on the wait. Draw faces and shift tab for the vertices to snap on the for each of the vertices to snap to the surface underneath it of surface of the object underneath it. Whoops. What shift tab surface. Okay. And press space to confirm. Let's get rid of the solidify modifier and then extras, uh, extras, texture mesh. It also works on this kind of geometry. There you go. Just to make it respond better with shrink wrapping. Select the draw object and the source mesh, and then shrink wrap. Use shrink wrap, use data transfer, and drop subdivision because we have subdivision. And then we can control the offset, and also activate floating mesh. Okay, and this one, use the same material, so our flow metal, and then just set the vertex color. Whoops, set replace. Wait, it's not. There we go. The normals are reversed. So right now it looks like it's a part of the mesh. And with it selected, we can then mirror that. There you go. So if you get something, of course, that's there's like decal dedicated add-ons today at present, so you can just use it for that. But if you want to know how to do it using Creative Flow, that's the way to do it. To create your own unique shapes. Okay, this one here. Actually, if you can also the L hat key also limits the selection using the edges that have their seams marked. You can use that, and then hide the rest of the geometry using Shift H, and then you can apply your geometry, your temporary geometry. We hid everything, so this edge loop will not continue to the rest of the faces or the face loop. So if it is visible, it continues like that. But if they are hidden, then the edge loop just stops at this face here. There we go. So we can do this. Where it's color set. There you go. So that's how I color the one in the video. Okay, let's make the lights. You can just use this one here. Add. You should name your material, by the way. Name it when you create it. Okay. So like. So I didn't name the the other materials, but um, just name it. Name it when you make it. So that's the rule. So you don't end up with like material 0101, material 002, something like 5. You know, Uh, what's the best? So something like green, something, and 20. And let's make the exhaust right in this Shift F. Set this to 30. I to inset, then inset again. Oops. Overlap. I to inset, then I again. But oops. Not I. If there's no thickness value, it won't. The inset command will not confirm. So there's no duplicate layer. But with extrude, it will confirm and will generate random double materials when there's no separation of the geometry or when you don't move the geometry. So let's do that. Let's do that exercise again. E to extrude scale manually to avoid the overlap here as we did with the inset. Then Alt S to shrink and fatten, and we're going to just add an edge loop here and bevel to serve as a support loop. There we go. Inset, inset again. So at that time, there's no need to actually use the same method here because we didn't experience any overlap problems. Okay, selecting these areas, and we're just going to assign emit or light. There we go. Not that pretty. I think it's too much. It looks like a furnace for cooking food. So we're probably just gonna use this one. Yeah. Let's try and use the power of grid fill again. Oh my god. Damn. And selecting these faces. Assign material. Let's assign the powerful metal back. Okay. Okay, so just this one. And we're going to add additional detail to this. And 5. Something like that. Let's reduce the thickness. Okay, something like that. Just to break one the baseness of the geometry earlier. Okay. So after this, I used random panels again to generate like those floater inner edges. So basically, they're just wires that kind of look like they're part of the mesh. Um, this is with, but in order to conform to the shape of the object that is subdivided, we're going to go settings and copy all modifiers. So instead of copying just the mirror modifier, it will copy the subdivision modifiers also. So floater mesh inner. So basically, it looks like this. It kind of looks like an edge cut that is part of the mesh, but really it's just this. So good, uh, good way to generate those kinds of detail without actually touching the actual geometry. So But this. Let's see if we toggle off the subdivision. Okay, we need to toggle off the smoothing. It's got, yeah, we need to toggle off the smoothing. Yeah, we need to toggle off the smoothing. There's no filter to toggle off specific modifiers. That's for example, the smooth modifier. So we need to do it after the operation. Actually, it looks kind of good. It select multiple islands. Reselect was actually puzzling too. Took me a while to do it. Problem was with the drawing of the geometry in object mode, the UI. I'm not even sure that it will work, but it did work. Look at that. Doesn't do it in edit mode. Okay, let's see. I think we can also do it here. Let's try it. Yeah, that looks good immediately, but let's try another seed value. Okay, this. So very subtle lines, and we're just going to do this part here. I'm trying to avoid the smaller islands. Let's try maze. So how is everyone enjoying random symbols and also the new maze operator solver, random solver? Okay, so just a few bits here. Okay, everything's parented together, so all you have to do is move the master geometry. But this one we've separated, so I need to parent it back. Okay, now we have our flying card with the same workflow that is used in the YouTube short. Of course, you can do a lot better than me with the base mesh, but using the same workflow, you can, of course, create this kind of model. So just keep the base mesh simple and also with sufficient resolution for the next stage of the randomization to work well. Okay, so um, that is it for this video. And just a reminder, the YouTube shorts are for demo purposes only. They are not tutorials, okay? You're not supposed to follow them. They are over in like 20 seconds. There's no way to fit all that information that I've discussed in this video in 20 seconds. It will be more confusing, okay? So YouTube shorts for demo, full video for the tutorial. And all you need to do is just watch it once and it's over, okay? And you can practice all you want. So since this is randomization, um, I suggest you watch the whole video while not modeling. Do not just model afterwards, okay? And just watch the video. Watch the video in like parts after if you're confused with something. But for these kinds of videos, since this is randomization, we're not going to get the same result. But using the same workflow, you're going to get the general shape of this. Okay. So yeah. If you have any questions, use the comment section below or the links in the description. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.